We
We're alive.
we are live.
Hi, everyone. Good evening from all over here. This is Dialogue with Khuraira. If you're not familiar with this platform, Dialogue with Khuraira was created to celebrate incredible people doing great things in their various communities for the betterment of humanity. And we call them the unsung heroes. Where are they, the unsung heroes? They are maybe, probably they are doing things and not many people know about them. So we're using this platform to really celebrate them, and hopefully they will mentor you and inspire you to start doing something also great in your own community. So it's all about celebrating goodness, showing people thriving in helping others. It really a good thing. And today we have a young lady by the name of Hafsah Eliakub. And this young girl, young lady, is actually still in college, but she's already shattering glass ceiling. So, Hafsa, are you on? Hi, Hafsa, how are
Yes.
you?
Hi, thank you for having me.
Welcome to Dialogue with Khuraira. So, Hafsa, just like I always say, I always want the guests to talk about themselves, because sometimes, a lot of the times, I butcher something in their bio. So, if you could do us the honor to tell our audience who you are, that would
Yes.
be great. Thank
All
you.
right.
Welcome to
So,
Dialogue with Khuraira.
thank you. So, first of all, good evening from Nigeria. Thank you for having me, Khuraira. My name is Hafsah El Yakub, founder and CEO of Maha Technologies. What else? We like to be humble, right? From Ariwa. So I'm from northern Nigeria. I am. I just concluded my exams as a final year computer science student from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University. Through in the last couple of years, I've been able to gain experience in software development, in training, in management. I had the opportunity of co-founding a club on campus called STEM Coders Club, Ahmadu Bello University, with some friends. There, we were able to host trainings and opportunities for those enthusiastic about tech to become to leverage to go on a path to be entrepreneurs and professionals. Yeah, I'm also a sorry, my head's all over the place. But yeah, I think I can stop there. Thank you.
Okay, it's okay. Well, you know what? I do. You're really being modest, and it's which is a typical northern trait. But we want basically the dialogue with Herrera is trying to get that out of the Nigerians as a whole. Especially the young people. There's nothing wrong with you talking about your accomplishment, because through your accomplishment will inspire others. It's not like you're showing off or anything like that. I think we need to start thinking about, like, even religious wise, it's said we should teach people, right? It's a great thing to give someone education. So what you are doing today, you have no clue how many young girls will look at you, young ladies across, even here in the US or wherever, because we're streaming on YouTube, and we're on LinkedIn, and we're on Facebook. You'll be amazed who will see it and say, oh, she can do it. I'm also going to be like Hafsa El Yakub. So there is nothing wrong with talking, but I'm going to get it out of you. Don't worry. So now that you have said, and I have to tell you, I also went to ABU. I did not finish. I started in ABU before I left for the US. I did Samaru, SBS Akikira. I did that, and
Okay.
I
Yeah.
remember when we used to go to the computer room, and at that time I was just telling my our contact developer, where they used to tell us that it is too hot today to open the room, so we can get our classes. Literally the whole semester I never seen that computer room because
Wow.
so
That is so interesting.
But that was long time ago, and that was from in about 30 years ago. So you were not even born yet.
Yes.
But I'm
Yeah.
so happy to hear that of course, Ahmadu Bello University is one of the prestigious universities in Nigeria, and they are excelling in every grounds of education. And I'm really happy to see that they have a club, but you guys have opportunity to open clubs, and a lot of other people are getting education from there and also thriving and changing lives through technology. So this is really awesome to know. So now, Hafsah, you're currently in you're still you're a last year student, right? You're graduating this year.
Yes, yes.
You were able to accomplish much. Please walk us through some of your accomplishments. Just walk us
Okay.
through the major ones you want to share and how they came about. What were the, just share it with us, please.
Okay. So what to mention and what not to mention, because there are so many things.
Yeah.
And then and
Mention the major ones that you think are major
the,
accomplishments. Yeah.
yes, yes. So I started I think the first opportunity I had on campus was joining a club on an organization, a student organization called Enactus.
Okay.
And what they do there is to work on entrepreneurial projects to solve community problems. So there, I was able to join the research and development unit of the organization. We made research on projects. So at that time, we were working on a project at a local community called Bagiga in Zamfara to
Okay.
help address the issue of water insecurity and and because of the pollution due to illegal practices of mining in
Okay.
the states, there
Oh wow.
was water insecurity. So we worked on a project to address that. Um, and then apart from Enactus, so there I worked with the research and development unit. After Enactus, during Enactus, I was able to connect with amazing personalities who are doing really well now. And through there, I was able to connect with and make. I was able to connect with individuals that together we started STEM Coders Club with. So we started STEM Coders Club because we wanted to do something more to do with tech. Because of my background in computer science, we were thinking, why not start a community where we can teach each other how to code? We can support each other. We can work on projects to do with tech,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. So we started it. It was small. We started with classes with Ibrahim Bello and Imran Abdul Malik. We started with Java programming classes. It was pretty cool and exciting at that time. So I started. So since we co-founded, it was small. It gradually grew with time.
Yeah.
So I was vice president at that time, and due to the COVID lockdown and the ASU strike, I was vice president for 2 years instead of one.
Yeah.
So we had training online and offline. We had meetups. It was pretty exciting,
Wow.
and so yeah. So after that, I was president for a year. I handed over earlier this year before we started Maha Technologies as the founder and CEO. Because I worked with STEM Coders Club for so long that I felt like I should do more. I don't want
Yeah.
to stop, and I'm graduating, so I was like, we can do more. And then I had so many people approaches. They want to join. They want to also be a part of the club, but they weren't students of ABU. So I
Yeah.
was like, we can do something bigger. We can do something.
Yeah.
And then in between Enactus and STEM Coders Club, I had the chance of working with Trilogy. It's a
Okay.
company here in Kaduna, Zaria. They have an office in Abuja. So I worked with them in training kids programming, Python programming. I also worked with Holt Prize AB. I volunteered with them as the financial coordinator. The year after, I participated as in the competition with
Mm-hmm.
some friends. We turned out we came out the what's it called? We came third place on campus. So they invited me to help join the team, mentor those competing or participating the year after. So yeah, I don't think I need to mention the other stuff, but those are the major
This is
things I've been able to do. Yeah.
so great. You're first in the, I don't know how many people are women especially into computers in Nigeria, especially in northern Nigeria, and now to see you breaking grounds and also being in leadership role, and you speak eloquently. And I have a lot of friends on LinkedIn that are probably gonna watch this that are in Silicon Valley. So you never know. Who knows? They might be calling you
Fingers crossed.
up.
All
Yeah,
right.
so this is a good thing. It's a good thing. And like you said, you feel like you have to do more. Just because you're going to be graduating from college doesn't mean that you cannot start something that you could be doing and helping others, and even like creating competitions and stuff. So it's always done. If your heart makes you feel like you need to share more, don't stop. Keep sharing until like you've given your all. So well done, well done. I'm just so proud of you. As a woman techpreneur, how challenges was it for you to break through, especially coming from the region where you are from?
Yeah. So I come from a very um how do I put this? Well, it was challenging. It still is. I
Yeah.
always have to consider the cultural barriers. I won't say religious barriers. That wouldn't be the right term to use.
Mm.
But of course, we have to put into consideration religion, especially as women. Your reputation is important. Especially when being advised, like um, you're worried about, or people say that if you're too outgoing or too
Mhm.
ambitious, men wouldn't want to marry you, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you hear that a lot, right? I've heard several people say to me, some men might find you intimidating. So issues, challenges like that, especially when it's considered very important, right?
Yes.
And then, of course, you want to be careful with when it comes to your reputation. Um, you don't want to interact or seem like you're not a very calm person.
Mhm.
What's I know the term for it in Hausa, but I don't know the term for it in English. Maybe you'd know better. Balagaza in Hausa. What's that in English?
Or something so someone so over friendly, you lose, or what is it?
Yes,
It's
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. So you don't want to appear like that. So you want to always keep your ground. So especially in our field when there aren't so many ladies in tech,
Yeah.
it would look strange to outsiders. Why is she always amidst men? Like what's wrong? Like what's happening? Maybe she's loose or something. So there was
Yeah.
always that, especially at the beginning. But then I
Yeah.
was lucky to have been maybe it's the exposure or the support I had from my parents,
Mhm.
and the people I've been able to be friends with, and seeing that it's possible. I
Yeah.
think helped me along the way to try my best to do well in all aspects. To keep in mind, there's always religion. To keep things professional. Things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you. I get you. Well, I have to tell you, I can relate to you saying that because that is actually how I got into makeup. When I
Okay.
came to the US, with my religion and culture, it's like having to mingle among men, you're looked at differently. So I wanted to find a job where I will be around ladies. And really, that's how I got into cosmetics.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
get
Okay.
you. I
Okay.
totally get you. But like I'm glad you mentioned this, and someone here, Alhaji Suleiman Bakar said, I think this dialogue with young people and young entrepreneurs will inspire other young people to greatness. Indeed, indeed. And you know what? You could also with this take it to your advantage. Look into other, I would say, female uh, techpreneurs across the country and across the globe, and you guys can create a club. And from that club, you can actually find employment for women. I spoke to another person, my first guest, who is also into IT. He's doing his PhD now in the UK. He's actually from Jigawa. I don't know if you were able to watch his interview, but we're talking about how being in tech actually can get a lot of people in our region where are not allowed to go out to work to actually find jobs. You can stay in your own home, raise your own kids, and be able to do this. So you can actually use this to your advantage and reach out to organizations and write your story for them to give you a grant to create a whole hub of female entrepreneurs in this field. So hello, use it to your advantage, you
Let
know.
me take notes. Yeah, yeah. All right.
You can do that, you know. So and what are the takes of other women about your work? So you were saying that people will say that, but what are other women your age bracket that see you doing this are talking about when they see you? Are they also feeling the way you are, or they are with you?
Okay, so I believe they also face the same fears,
Yeah,
especially the younger ones. But the older you get, the more you realize it's not that important, and there's a way of, still doing well in all aspects, as a good woman, as a good wife, as a good mother, and still being exceptional in your career. We're seeing
yeah,
so many examples now, especially like with the likes of Aisha Tufa, Mariam Godebe, and Thuraya Ahmed. Seeing their stories, their profiles, you become inspired, right?
yeah,
And motivated that, okay, I can still do this. There was a time I joined a call. I remember Thuraya Ahmed was presenting. She was talking about something on Future Space, and then you can hear her kid in the background. She was like, "Give me a sec," and then she took care of him, and then she came back on. I thought that was super amazing. Um,
yeah,
so you can still be a good mother. You can still be there, and
yeah,
the whole being able to work remotely and make good money and have a good work life balance, I think is the best part about tech, about being
yes,
in tech. And so many women are realizing that there are so many opportunities in tech. So I've been approached by so many ladies now. They're understanding the opportunities in the tech
yeah,
industry, and they want to learn, but they don't know how to.
yeah.
But thankfully, there are many opportunities coming up to train and to help women understand and to get there. So many people, so many women are trying now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the opportunities are endless, it's just how it need to be marketed and packaged and explained. And like you just brilliantly said, that you can be a married woman, a mother, and still do your job well. And I think that people need you guys need to push through to let people understand that doesn't matter, like you have a lot of burden on you in a way, because how you carry yourself is what will open more doors to others generation behind you. So if you're able to do this with elegance, with class, with with your dignity intact, and then and what I love also listening is about your humanitarian aspect of doing things, and people to see that you're really such a brilliant young lady, and now you're not just being selfish, you're also extending your hand out there and helping other young girls and young ladies and young men to achieve greatness. It's really commendable. So don't let any, the best thing to success is never listen to the naysayers. Never. It's as long as you have the conviction that what you're doing is right and you're not wronging anyone, you're only doing what you love and you're going to use what you love to change the world, is all that you need. So don't let anyone drag you, okay? I am sure you're not, because you wouldn't have been here if you were. That's it. And then what opportunities and challenges have, especially, and not even just women, but being in your field in Nigeria.
I think the first thing that came to my mind when you said that was the issue of internet connection and power supply.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like several times, so many people, countless. I wish I had the numbers to back up what I'm
Yeah. Okay. See that.
consistent.
Oh, I was thinking, did the power supply just did that to you to?
Oh wow, that would have been the perfect timing, right? But no, I think I'm not sure what happened.
Okay.
Um, okay, so yes, power supply, internet connection. You have to be from a, you have to be in a place. So you have to either have the means or to be of a certain class to have access to all that, or to
Yeah.
be in a place where you can get access to that without, having to spend too much. Data is pretty expensive. That is access to the mobile data. I think that
Yeah.
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Internet access is pretty expensive, especially depending on what you want to learn. There are certain fields or certain tracks in tech that you can easily just download videos off of YouTube, get the things you want, and then just keep practicing. So
Okay.
let's say like web dev, um, um, mobile app, just basic stuff. You don't really need much, but
Yeah.
there are certain fields like let's say like extended reality that I've ventured into. I started learning about a year ago. It
Yeah.
takes a lot of data to start in one go, to have the whole Unity set up and everything. You need 4.5 GB, I think, just to download the application.
And how
Um,
cost wise, how much would that be?
Cost wise, that would be um 2K, 2,000
Oh,
naira.
so, and
But then
that's
of course, if you
yeah.
convert to naira, it's not
No,
much. But
no,
sorry, if you
but
convert to dollar,
that
it's not much.
reality, is we're looking at that.
Yeah,
That's a lot. Yeah, for
yeah, yeah.
especially
And
for
that's just to
students.
set it up the first time. And then
Yeah.
you'll still need the resources. You still need access to the internet if you get stuck. For example, you have a bug you want to fix, or you want to be active on an online training, for example. You need internet access, and then you also need constant power supply to be able to charge your devices. And then another issue is having a laptop. Not
Mm,
everybody has a laptop.
I see.
I've been approached by so many individuals, like we're hosting a training, or we want to help someone to learn something, and then they'd say, I don't have a laptop, I cannot afford getting a laptop. No, I don't have somebody close to me with a laptop. Or maybe I have a laptop, but we don't have the power supply, or there was an power outage, or something happened. So I
Yeah.
think those are the three major challenges that are happening. That's
Yeah.
happening. Um, so power supply and then internet access are the biggest challenges,
Having the
especially with the economic situation.
yeah.
If you'd rather if you need the money to buy food, for example, you wouldn't have enough to start looking for, to do all that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then in the colleges, do they have like is the classroom set up with like computers where people can go in there and do their work in case they don't have a laptop, or there's nothing like that?
Okay, I'm not sure of how things are in other universities or other institutions, but
Yeah.
in ABU we do have that's my university, Ahmadu Bello University. We do have internet access. We have Wi-Fi.
Hmm.
Um, but usually the labs, okay, there are a few yes, yes, there are spots where you can just use a computer. There's an MTN library. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. But still, if you're looking at a class of 20 or 30 people and not everyone is given a computer, it's still going to be. And then when you graduate, what then can you do? So basically, internet access is very expensive because it costs a lot for the data, and stability of electricity is another huge issue, and then of course cost of computer is but still people are pushing through, like honestly I am seeing so many people do great things with graphics and I'm very impressed with your generation. You guys are really doing well, and I'm sure in a few years to come, things will always get better and better and better. Just keep pushing. And somebody corrected me here. He said here, I'm sorry, Dr. Nura graphics is actually, he had finished his PhD in the UK for computer. So thank you so much, Abdul Aziz, for the correction. Thank you. And someone here, Yahya Harun, said, not all universities have that access, especially public. So, yeah, you're right, not all of them. And I think at least we know ABU is one of the top university. Probably that's why we're able to, you guys are able to have more access and stuff like that. So in the, I think as Khadija Mohammed, is she your partner or she's one?
Yes,
Yeah.
she's one
So
of my co-founders at Maha Technologies. Yeah.
okay, so and I still so maybe she has something to say as well. You wanna pop in? And
Yes, just very quickly, let me just do my due diligence. Hello, it's very nice to be here. My name is Khadija Mohammed, and I'm Hafsah's partner in this Maha Technologies, which is a solution we're bringing. And I think another issue or problem, I think it's also access, right, to the right people,
yeah,
to the right opportunity. So there's usually a huge gap, right? Sometimes people might have the skills. You might, scale through and buy the data and, get the computer and all of that. But then at the end of the day, you don't really have opportunities, or you don't have an environment that allows you to really showcase your talents, right? So after you've done all the work, there's always that extra step of, okay, now how do I let the world know what I'm capable of, right? How do I show the world that this is what I can do outside of everything, right? You've climbed through, all these hardships, mountains and everything, but then there's also this huge gap. So I
yeah.
think this specifically relates to what we're trying to do.
Mhm.
um, because personally for me, I've been to a lot of different countries in terms of work, education, and I tend to notice that a lot of Nigerians do very well
Oh,
abroad.
yeah,
And I always ask myself, like, why is it that every Nigerian that I meet outside, they're just top of the food chain? It doesn't matter what environment they find themselves in. I think we have this ability to be very tenacious in any environment we find ourselves in.
very true.
And I think the main difference that I notice is definitely that environment and access to opportunities,
Yes.
right? Environments in a lot of other countries, they're just a lot more conducive to talents,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
To building a environment, especially for women in this day and age, where you can really be comfortable enough to show your best self, or should I say, put your best foot forward.
yeah.
That's one of the gaps, or something that I've noticed, in our experience, and one of the main driver behind what we're trying to do,
Mhm.
because we believe that it can be replicated, right? We
Yeah,
know that we have the talent, we know that it's there,
yeah,
so we want to just do the little finishing touches and make sure we can give people the proper access to opportunities, but also try to foster an environment that's very, very that's very conducive for learning, for growth, and for allowing people to really, really, truly achieve their fullest potential.
yeah. And you really had touched on something very, very important, and it's so true. And Nigerians excel here because there are a lot of opportunities. But what we that is also for me, my whole prayer with Dialogue with Khuraira is giving you guys a platform so that maybe here some contacts here, my international contact, can see the brilliance in you guys, or even people that know me back in Nigeria that would say, oh, I saw that, maybe we could do something. So we're hoping this whole Dialogue with Horror can really give you guys the opportunity to showcase what you're doing. And also, you're already doing that anyway. And finding, I would say, for what you're trying to say, it's also look within, here from what how you speak, and Hafsa is speaking. Obviously, you guys come from a very well educated background, and I would say start even from local. You know, create the atmosphere, try to create it. You can, before you would not imagine a young northern ladies talking anything beyond maybe staying home, and now you're talking tech. So if you're able to do that, you can actually try to create that environment. Now there's this where you can actually reach out to the government and say, this is what we want, help us. Reach out to NGOs. It's try even within your own network how you guys can set up things and start seeing how you can do it. And I really think you can do it, and you can inspire a lot of us. It's all about numbers, and it's all about consistency. As long as you stay consistent, and then you get the right people with the right mindset and keep doing it, people will listen. So I'm sure there are so other people talk, some making good comments here. See northern women in diaspora doing great thing. The major concern is the environment, which could allow you to showcase your talent and potential. Yeah, this so true. But we're going to change that. We're doing it. We're gonna do it.
Yes, I mean, I was even going to say, like, usually that's the first step, right? The dialogue. You have to open a dialogue into the problems.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't have to just start with trying to solve the problem. I think dialogues are very important, like you mentioned. Platforms in which where we can share ideas. And I think you talked about community as well, right? That the strength of community and strength in numbers. And so I think this platform, what you're trying to do is very, very important, because dialogue is one of the most important steps when it comes to change, especially in an environment that's been, operating in the same way. When you're able to find like-minded people and converse and meet, and have that sense of community, I think it really, really helps in moving things in the right direction, even though it just seems like we're talking.
But the thing the thing that I always tell people, stop complaining and show what you can do. Because complaining is not going to get you anywhere. But when you are talking now, what you have explained and what Hafsah had explained makes sense. And now people can hear you, can understand you. And anyone that wants to see you or their country to grow, will jump at this opportunity and say, listen, let me just invite these young people and see they're already doing it. What can we do? But you shouldn't also stop there. Find ways that you can get even to the top. You have people, like the Minister of Communication, send an email to them, or just later introduce your organization. NGOs that empowering young people, in tech, send there, but make it as a tribe. If you go as a tribe, you actually, what do we call it? Adopt the Mimi stay away from the Mimi syndrome and adopt the wee wee syndrome. If you start using wee wee, then you guys and then you're just not gonna stay just in the get the other techpreneurs from the north, the southeast, southwest, north. The whole of Nigeria. You will bounce back with ideas, and so that if you don't have the connection, like as I know in Nigeria, the way it's set up is all about who you know. So your techpreneurs in the other part of the country might know someone you don't know, and you may know someone. So it's, if you are able to create like a little tribe of what you guys are doing, and I think it will take you a long way. But even at that, you should really be proud of yourselves and don't get discouraged. Things can only get better. Okay. And now that so either one of you can answer, Hafsah or you, what advice, or both of you, because you all have different ways of you think you can, it's more than happy to hear from both of you. What advice will you give to the youth, especially women in Nigeria?
Hafsah, you can go ahead.
Thanks, Khadija. Yeah. So do not in any challenge or in any situation you find yourself, always there's always a way out, right? And look for mentorship. I think mentorship can go a long way. Find somebody, or when you get somewhere, try to also give back. You never lose by giving back. Yeah.
I like that. Two most important things in life: mentorship and giving back. Because nobody knows everything. You need people that have been before you, that have really got the the struggle and were able to succeed in that struggle. They can guide you. So mentoring is very, very important, and giving back can only, like you said, you can never lack by giving.
I
You
think,
always,
let me add to that as well. I
yeah,
think another thing I've noticed in this space is sometimes we ladies, when we find ourselves in a place, we feel like we are in competition.
yeah,
We're competing. Who's the most beautiful? Who's getting the most attention? That kind of thing. I think we need to stop that. We need
yeah,
to try and, especially in the tech space when there aren't so many of us.
yeah,
Together, we're stronger. We can support each other. We can be there for each other. We know the challenges that we're facing. That's a habit that I've been trying to grow, and I believe that many of the opportunities coming my way is because of the relationships I've been able to build with other women in the space. And so many women are coming up in the tech space from northern Nigeria and other parts of the country as well. Building relationships is important.
yes,
Sometimes the relationships you have with people at your level could be more beneficial than the mentorship or the relationship you have with people on top of you, right?
yeah,
Because sometimes they don't even have time for us. So sometimes we can work together. And even like, let's say me and Khadija right now, if we weren't friends or we didn't meet in a place or we didn't want to connect, we wouldn't have, started working on Maha together. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Very good. And then there's also that, you know what, I think young people or women, especially as you said, have, so you're very right. We always feel like we have to compete against each other, but you know what, your star is yours. It's never going to be mine, and mine is never going to be yours. So if we start to realize that we're all made differently with our unique God-given talents, and we should embrace them and share them with each other, so that we can create a better world. We will even live happier and be more productive. So that is a really good point. So Hadija, anything you can add to that?
Yes, of course. I think Hafsah has mentioned a lot, but personally for me, and these are very, very important points, but I also think, just to add on top of that, I think it's always very, very important to look within, right? Before you look outside, before you look to the mentors, before you look to the community. I
Mhm.
think it's very, very important to have very strong foundations for yourself, because life is not very easy, especially if you choose to go on a certain path where you're trying to make impact, you're trying to help people. It's never going to be easy. It never gets easier. And the one thing that gets you through all of that is the unwavering confidence, or should I say faith, that you have in yourself. So I think it's very, very important to build that internal faith, because at the end of the day, it will help you weather through anything that happens. Because trust me, things are going to happen. I think Hafsat and I are experiencing it. Once you decide to do something, it there's just always something coming your way, and
Yeah,
that's just the way life is, right? Every single day, whether it's personal or professional, there's always a problem. There's always something you have to deal with. And
yep.
so it's very important, I think, to build that internal, or should I say intrinsic motivation,
Mhm.
that motivation that aligns with your own values, so that I know that this Maha project that we're working on, regardless of what comes, I know what we're trying to do. I understand the goals that we're trying to achieve. And because we all align with it, we know that comes, whatever comes, we'll be able to weather through, because we truly believe in what we're trying to do. So my advice really is, try to build that foundation for yourself before you look outward. I think it's very important to look inward, right? What are your values? What do you align with? What are you trying to achieve in life?
Yeah,
What do you want to do? And at the end of the day, the reality is, I know it sounds, cliche, because everybody says it, but there's really no limit to what you can achieve, right? So it's very important you believe in yourself. I think confidence is very important,
yeah,
because that can get you through so much.
yeah,
All the companies that we know, all the Apples and the Amazons, when they started, I mean, they seemed like they were crazy. The ideas were not existing in the market, right? They disrupted the market. but they had that unwavering belief in themselves that this is what I want to do. It doesn't matter if it works or not, but this is my path and this is what I want to do. So for me, I'm like, look, before you look outward, try to build that internal faith in yourself, that internal strength, because I think it really, really helps with all the obstacles that would inevitably come. It's gonna happen. So once you have that strong base, I think everything else that you add on top of it, it just makes you stronger. But the base is the foundations are just very, very important and you cannot ignore it.
So true. You guys, you know what? I don't even want this to stop. This is how much I'm enjoying you guys. And I'm sure, like, our, audience were listening to you guys. Probably some people wants to ask the question. So I don't want to be the only one asking the question. And please, anybody that wants to ask these young ladies a question, I see great comments there. Someone just, if you want to ask questions, let us know, please. Before I ask them the last question. Anyone with questions for Hafsah or Hadija? Okay, so my last question is, what are your plans for the future of Maha Technologies?
Let's have our COO, head of strategy, talk about that.
Yes, the plans are very, very big. Obviously, it's always good to dream big, because it really helps in trying to set a path for yourself. But I think at the end of the day, we're really trying to, it's somewhat of a paradigm shift, I think, is how we're trying to frame it, but trying to change that cultural notion that we have when it comes to women, when it comes to opportunities, and when it comes to work. Because a lot of times, I think sometimes culturally or just personally, we have a lot of notions that stop us from trying to achieve what we want to achieve. So we want to build, should I say, a comprehensive training or a comprehensive training system that really, really is looking at the holistic view when it comes to education, right? Education is not just about what you learn in the classroom. I think there's a lot outside of the classroom when it comes to education. And we're really, really trying to bridge that gap between the education that we have in schools, should I say formal education, and that education that takes you to where you need to go, right? That, should I say, personal education, which has a lot to do with personal development and, professional development as well on an international scale. Yeah. Our goal really is to get students here in Nigeria, whether it's students or talents, to be on the same scale as any other talent you're going to find anywhere in the world, right? Trying to get them to the international standard, because it's very, very possible. I think, like I mentioned before, we have all the building blocks, but it's just about how you put everything together. And so that's what we're trying to achieve, is to build a talent marketplace that is very, very comparable, if not better, than the international standard. And so we're going to do that by building a very comprehensive and competitive talent pool. But I think we're really trying to focus on that paradigm shift aspect, where we're trying to shape how people think, and we're trying to change or move that thinking from our previous archaic way of thinking to more innovative and, should I say, open-minded way of thinking. Because really there's so much out there. And I think we really, really can achieve so much. And so it's very abstract, but those are the two main things we're trying to do, to build a talent marketplace that's comparable internationally.
And really, if you focus on that talent pool and you're able to really get your name out there, you'll be among the first to really get it done. So, and how amazing would it be to say that the women did break the glass ceiling? And I believe that you guys are very focused, and you have, another thing that, apart from you were trying explaining resilience, if you have to build your own resilience and you have to build your own conviction, you have to have, the most important thing in business is passion. As long as you have that passion, no matter how hard things get, you always know that you're going to survive. And you know, so have the passion first, the money comes later. And I think that's what you guys are doing here. I didn't hear one minute of you guys saying, oh, we just want to be big. You're just thinking of how you
Yeah.
really want to change, and that shows passion. And
Yeah.
with that mindset, I think the sky is just, it's not even like it's you are beyond the sky starting point, God willing. And we are very, very proud of you. And just know that Dialogue with Khuraira is here for you guys. You don't have to be shy to reach out to our content developer if you want to come back for anything that you want to discuss. If you want to host a show about your thing, I'll step aside, and that day you can be the one hosting. I'm here for you guys. I want
Thank you so
you
much.
to succeed, because when you succeed, many other families would succeed. So thank you so much for all that you do, and may
And I
God
think,
guide you guys to greater heights. Thank you
yeah.
everyone for listening, for all the great comments. We have the evening is spam. Is it for Amazon's engineer? Is it Dr. Alison Adam? Happy birthday, Doc. I said I heard today's your birthday. Happy birthday. So, and then I see Engineer Abdullah say, well done. We got some people. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to listen to this incredible young ladies. And I cannot wait to see where you guys are going to take Maha Technologies.
Yes.
Right? Maha Technologies, because you are up to amazing things. So thank you for your time, and have a wonderful evening back in Nigeria. Okay. Oh, actually, night is evening here. This night over there. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much
All
for
right.
having
Bye
us.
bye.
Bye.